good to have land. I have to start all my videos by making her laugh. And I'm like, oh man, I don't have anything stupid to tell her this time. So I'm going to make fart noises. Like a child. I can hear Solomon in the background probably whining away.
It died.
It did not die.
Yes, it did.
I'll make it. It died.
I told you it died.
So, before we get to it, this was something by Trader Jack. I don't remember what.
It was like
whatever
like
the dark one is.
Yeah.
And it felt lighter than the medium one, but I mean for a $2 cigar it wasn't bad, but we're just going to set that down. But this is our first time trying this. It's Crazy Alice by Deadwood Tobacco. She hasn't tried this yet because I want to get her reaction to it, especially compared to that thing.
I like that one a lot.
I like this one, yeah. So we wanted to try this and the Fat Bottom Betty, and we picked this one up last time we were in West Bend, Wisconsin. At Smokes on Main, I'm giving them a shout out. And so yeah, we weren't sure about these Trader Jacks because they're like $2, like machine rolled cigars. And the last one was pretty good, but this one is
kind of meh.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna bother relighting it. Our new obsession is Magic Toast by Alec Bradley, though. That's been like our go-to cigar now.
No, you cannot have that, my dear.
No, you can't have the cigar.
He was trying to go for that.
Oh, yeah, no, you really can't have alcohol. Oddly enough, Solomon took a clove cigarette out of my hand the one day. I'm smoking. He's just like, he tried to eat it. Didn't like it when he burned his tongue.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So we're filming outside, so I got a lot of traffic, so you're going to hear me like stopping and then being like a dog, like, car! But from the title of the video, you can see we bought a house, which that was quite the weird experience.
Just a little.
As she's actually here with me. She's not in Iowa. She's somewhat moved in.
About 55%.
Which is probably more than I am, and my old house is like 5 minutes down the road. So. We just had the most amazing jump cut in editing, and I don't know if you could see it. She's kind of screaming. Now we have a cat here instead of a dog. Because, the cat's just going to chill. Thor's like, I want everything, including your alcohol. Which we're having a weird combination of mead and whiskey and a chocolate truffle today.
Yeah.
It works quite well, surprisingly. And here comes another car. I did not, like, there was no cars on the street when we decided to film, and like it took us an hour to set things up, and now it's just like car.
But we were talking about getting the house.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to go back and so we're talking about getting a house. Damn you and your trailer. Can I borrow your trailer? I need to get a couch and maybe a washing machine and a dryer. So I'm gonna get a house, so we're looking at the market like back in January. It's like, oh, it'll probably be like a year. And we see this house, and I was like, this house looks perfect for us. It's got like this kind of gothic flair that we like. But something seemed off about it, like the pictures were not good. I'm going to see if I can find if they're still online and put them into the video, because the pictures were awful.
I think I have copies of them.
And I think it's still up on some of the realtor websites. And I'm going to shut up for a minute because this other car drives by. I'm going to glare at them menacingly. I can't do menacing. I am going to try and edit most of his cars out, so it's going to be the weird jump cuts. But
Mama.
even though I like to do things more one shot. So anyway, we're like, this place looks perfect. The price wasn't terrible, but it was actually more than we were really looking to spend. But it gave us an idea. And
No.
So
So
we're looking at this place, and I was like, it's almost perfect. And I made a comment like offhand, I'm like, yeah, if this place is still in the market in 2 months, I'll go look at it just because. Because houses here have been going crazy. A lot of them are going up, and they're, they got 3 or 4 offers on them in a day, and you end up in a bidding war. So it's like almost 2 months to the day later, and because of the situation where I was having to stay at hotels to come visit her, and it was just costing a fortune, And she was having problems with her where she was working. And I was like, you know what? We're going to move out here anyway. Let's just do this. And houses are cheaper than apartments out here, especially when you got a bunch of animals. So
2 cats.
Yeah, 2 cats, 2 dogs.
One of them being a large dog.
I mean,
which was the biggest issue.
Yeah, and you can probably hear him in the background. Yeah, we were going to actually let him be in the video, but he was getting really bitey. And I'm like, man, if you're going to bite it, you're going back in your kennel. So, funny thing, getting off track. There's a little room underneath the stairs that we put his kennel in. So we're joking to refer to that as the Harry Potter suite. So that's Solomon's room. He gets the Harry Potter suite. Which is not so sweet, but it works. He actually doesn't seem to mind it that much now.
No, he doesn't. So,
I tried to look at a few other houses, because again, the pictures in this one just look terrible. It's like it has what we like, but it looks like it needs a lot of work. And every house I wanted to see was just fresh on the market, and I already had 4 or 5 bids on it. So we get to the point, and not to mention I wanted to use a VA loan, so that limited things. So there were really only 2 houses currently on the market that I could use the VA loan for. And we really liked the other one, which is just 2 blocks up the road from here. So I set up the appointment with the realtor to see both houses in one day. And I go to the first house, which, again, the pictures looked better. And I've got her on a video call, and I walk it, just from the second I walked in, I'm like, oh, this is a dump. It was just the most awful house. There was no yard. The backyard was just one huge patio, and then there was an office building right next door that closed it off. Which on the one hand was neat because you almost have a brick wall for a patio, but it was private. But what are you going to do out there? And we need a little bit of a yard for the dogs. I mean, Thor's tiny and he needs a bit of a yard to run around in. And that shot of our front yard earlier, we do have a backyard, but we been here about a month and we don't have a lawnmower yet, so it looks like a jungle. So I'm not showing that off.
Yeah, we'll show it off when it gets completed.
I almost want to report myself to the city, hey, this guy needs to cut his yard. So, we come look at this place, and it looks amazing. The pictures were just awful. I can't, I even took my own pictures, and my pictures look 100 times better than the ones online.
Miss Complainy.
And they were still awful. So, I decided to go ahead and put, we discussed it, we're let's go ahead and put an offer in on the house. And, since the place has been on the market since, November, or something, and the person wasn't living here, and there are a lot of signs that led me to believe oh, this is probably some old lady's house, and that turned out to be the case. It was the guy's mom's house or something, and he had inherited it. Clue number 1 is the pink bathroom. And just clue number 2 is how pristine everything looked, aside from the carpet, which again you'll see in the pic. The carpet looks, but we're in the process of tearing it out. I got it all out of the living room, and we want to do the dining room and everything. We'll talk about that later. But we're yeah, this house is perfect for us. So I put a bid in on it, and I offered them a lower price than what they wanted, but it was this shouldn't be so low that they're going to have problems. But right away, the realtor knew it's old lead-based paint, it was chipping places, and she's the VA is never going to approve this. So I'm okay, here's my offer. So I made my money offer, said I wanted the seller to pay all the closing fees, and then part of it was we'd come in and take care of all the lead-based paint to get the VA's approval. And this lady looked at me are you serious? I said, yeah, because you're going to spend your own money on a house you don't own that somebody could actually come in and buy out from underneath you. And I was yeah, I'm going to take the risk on that. So we brought her out for a week.
And ended up being 2.
Ended up being 2 because we got the place painted, but we went to a restaurant that I like to go to, and she asked if they were looking to hire somebody, and the owner comes out, talks to her, and was can you start Monday?
More or less.
So she's so we're we'll get back to you. And she said, well, what do you think? And I was well, we're closing that. We're supposed to close the house on Friday. We don't want to know if the VA guy gets through there, but I was let's take it. So she goes ahead and starts work. Ended up being out here 2 weeks, and we ended up getting the house, and that's why nothing's been up on the channel, because we just got internet last week, and we've been busy moving.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm moving my stuff from across town, it's actually a pretty big process. I'm still working 6 days a week.
Some of the first things to come over were her and her giant brother.
Which one, Solomon or Teeth?
Teeth. It was Teeth.
No, we didn't call you Thor. He's just running around playing on the porch here. So yeah, you can see we have a front porch, which is cool. And a lot of places here have balconies. We got a nice huge balcony off the back, but That's actually where the sun is right now. We'd be blind right now trying to film out there. So we figured we'd sit out here. Because there was no traffic today.
Right.
Then we put the camera up. It's all good.
Everyone wants to be in our video.
The camera's facing the wrong way.
Shh, they don't know that.
So we're trying to figure out why this house has been on the market for like a year. You know, I brought the housing inspector in, and he's like, dude, this place is incredible. Like, I can't believe it hasn't sold. And the VA appraiser came through and was like, this is amazing. How is this even available yet? And we've come to a few conclusions. One is it's the only house on the block without a driveway. And we figured it's the only house on the block without a driveway, so no problem. We'll just park on the street.
That has been a challenge within itself.
Turns out the house on both sides are duplexes. Like, the one might be a triplex, I don't know.
And they like to have guests.
And so we almost can never park in front of our house. It's like, okay, that's a slight issue, but not a big thing. And honestly, like, we could park like a house away and it's not a big deal. So, but I'm like, yeah, I'm sure people didn't like that. The kitchen doesn't currently have any cabinets in it.
But there's an amazing pantry.
There's a huge pantry, but there's like, and it's funny because there's a dining room. So the kitchen, like, it's just like a huge kitchen, and all that's in there is the stove and the refrigerator. And yeah, and the sink, and it looks so empty. Like, we're trying to cook, and it's like one of us is like holding the plate, while the other one's like prepping the food on it and throwing it on the stove. So I said, well, we can build counters, it's no problem. And then we got the idea, we found a free table on Facebook. We're going to try and go get tomorrow. We're just going to put this table in there and then put some cabinets underneath it for storage. And it probably won't look the best, but it'll get the job done.
Yeah.
And
we have an end table in there right now.
Yeah, that's like our hookup for our internet's in there. So there's an end table with our internet stuff in there, which is actually not a bad place for it.
It's got our utensils and our knives, so.
I'm going to actually unwrap this, which is something I don't usually do. So we got that. And the other thing I think was a huge problem for people was, as mentioned before, the pink bathroom. Which in the pictures it looked like everything was pink. It looked like
including the toilet.
Like a toilet and a bathtub and the sink. Turns out just the wall tiles pink, and it was just reflecting off the white porcelain of everything.
Yeah.
Like when I got inside it, like on the pictures, like, ew, that's gross. And bathroom renovations can be expensive, but at the same time, I don't really care. And then I got in there and was like, oh, this isn't bad. I can live with this.
Right.
And that thing has the biggest freaking closet I've ever seen. Like for a bathroom closet, let alone, but it's like the biggest one in the house.
Yeah.
It's almost like the length of the master bedroom.
I think it is.
So, and then the bedrooms are kind of weird. It's like, it's a 3-bedroom, but it's really only a 1. It's got the master bedroom. And the 1 bedroom was, I think they had it set to be a sewing room, which is great because she does that. So that's what we're using for it. That has counters in it.
Yeah.
Unlike the kitchen. So we were almost like, well, maybe we could pull these out and stick them downstairs. And there's like no back. It just uses the wall for the back. So that's cool. Is that a parade going by?
Apparently.
Like, where's the ringmaster? Guy, I see 2 more coming right away, so.
I'm going to take this opportunity because somebody's getting antsy.
Okay, take her in. You all saw me just staring at her butt. I'm allowed to do that. We're engaged.
Oh, you want to go into? Okay.
So the one room is like, we make a good craft room, and then the 3rd room is just, it's tiny. Like, it's a really nice room, but like right now we've got our altar set up there, and we've got the guitars and the violin and stuff in there. Did the cat pee on you?
No. When I stood up, this must have spilled.
Oh. You want to grab one of the other chairs?
Yeah.
Not the taco chair.
Not the taco chair.
So this drink she made up for us, we've tried one of Door County's, Door Peninsula's meads, just regular honey mead. It's really good. But we actually added each like a half shot of Celtic whiskey honey into each one, and then she added a truffle into each one from the local chocolate shop.
Yeah. They're frozen truffles.
And it's pretty freaking amazing. Oh, you want it inside, and now you're clawing at the door. He can stay in there.
Yeah, he can.
He doesn't want to listen to Solomon Wine either. So this last bedroom, which probably the nicest of the 3 bedrooms, but again, like we put our altar in there and we put the guitars and our violin in there, and that room's full. Like that's all that's in there, and it's full. Like, I think you could have probably put a twin-size bed and maybe an upright dresser. And that one has a real long closet in it too, but it's like at the edge of the house where the slope of the roof is. So you like have to duck down to get in there. Like
I don't.
Well, I do. I don't think you could put anything in that closet. It's weird. So like
we can, and I know how to do it.
Hire a contortionist?
No.
You open the closet, there's this guy like, here's your suit, sir. Like, what was that? Well, that's my live-in contortionist. Stays in the closet in this extra room that we rarely... But that room's cool because that's the one that actually goes out onto the back balcony. That overlooks our backyard. Now, the houses here don't have yards because it's a real old city. And everything here is kind of old. And all the houses are like right on top of each other. And this one actually has a... It's skinny. It's not much wider than the house, but it goes back forever. Like where you think it would end, it goes back almost twice as far. So that's kind of nice once we get that worked out for the dogs.
Yeah.
The dogs love it. The people over here have 2 pit bulls that I constantly find back there.
And just the one day the 2 pit bulls decided to try to come in the house.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for that.
No, you were at work. It was while Kate was here. My best friend came up for about 3 days to go and visit because she wanted to see everything and whatnot. And we had just come back from dropping him off at work, and I believe it was the night that I got groceries. And these 2 pit bulls, one's really young, come running up from behind the house, and I'm like, okay. So I told them to go home because that's what they need to do. And no, they were out in the front yard sniffing everything, and I'm like, I really want to bring Solomon out to scare them off, but I need to get to the door without them coming in.
Solomon's been funny. He's not been barking much. And whenever I take him for walks, like he doesn't bark at other dogs, which is great. But
he sees one that looks anything like his heritage,
yeah,
and he howls.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Like he's realized that most dog breeds don't howl. And so dogs will be barking, and he'll stop, and he'll just give me this look like, can I? And I'll go ahead. And he'll start howling, and then the other dogs just freeze up like, what is that? We had the internet hooked up. He was howling, and the internet guy was like, you guys have a wolf in here?
Yeah, the internet guy saw Thor when I came home, and then heard Solomon and took like a half step back. It's like, I'm not sure about this house.
He also makes a weird mooing noise. We used to tell people about our mooing wolf dog.
Most of the time, we just call him Mr. Moo. Thor, quit!
Yeah, the place is gorgeous. It's got a ton of exposed wood around like the doors and everything. There's this great built-in china cabinet in the dining room. And it's funny.
Full.
Yeah, it's full. Because I brought my grandmother's old china out of storage, and we found a set that we really liked at a thrift store, so we bought that. So it's full. And the realtor goes, please promise me you're not going to paint over all. I'm like, no, I would never. Like, that's half the appeal of the place. And she's like, oh, so many people do that. And I think, no. And then we went to rip up the old carpet. I think the carpet's older than her. Mm-hmm, it was really stained up. Like it was so dirty. We were like trying to stick the vacuum and just vacuum like a square foot of the thing, and we kept having to empty the vacuum, and it was still pulling stuff off. Yeah. But it was like lumpy. Like you'd walk over the carpet barefoot, and you could feel like it was just
It wasn't comfy.
The place has hardwood floors, so we like that better anyway. Let's just pull the carpet out.
Yep.
So we've been doing that. So it's kind of funny. Like the pictures online again, it said it looked like the place needed a lot of work. It actually doesn't need much work. We're just doing a lot because we want to make it ours.
Right.
But it's funny. We scraped all this paint off like the front porch and around the windows and put primer on it. We're like, oh, we'll paint this year. And after a week of that, we decided we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're gonna save money and hire somebody to do it next year. and it's funny because most of the porch we painted, but we wanted to just do what we knew the VA was going to go for. So there's this spot up top here. I'm not going to show it, but it's like strip of white and the old brown strip of white. You
can see it on the back window here.
It's pretty funny.
It's
like the worst paint
brown
job ever, but it served a purpose. Like it was just to get us in the house. And then it's funny, we got these two huge trees out in the front here that go right above the house, and they shade everything. That keeps it so cool. We don't have air conditioning. A lot of houses here don't. But the one day, it was probably, 20 degrees cooler in the living room than it was outside. It was probably like a good 15 to 20.
It was like a day that it was almost 90.
Yeah, she comes inside to take the dogs. She goes, "Are you sure we don't have central air?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's no air conditioning unit." That is my one complaint, though, with the one bedroom being on the first floor, especially working nights. And
you mean second floor?
yeah, second floor. And then the trees do cover it, but we got to have those windows open. And I can't bring my old window air conditioner unit because all the plugs are on the inside wall. So I'd have to run an extension cord across the room. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Well, we've been having a hell of a time. Like, many people who watch my old channel know, about 4 years ago I had a place, an apartment that the whole building was infested with bed bugs, so I threw like everything out. So she had to move in with her parents. She had to throw a bunch of her stuff out. So we were coming into this house like owning nothing. So like the first thing we did was bought a bed, and all we did was buy a mattress.
Yeah.
And we decided to get a king size bed just because we got spoiled at that hotel room with the king size bed.
Yeah.
So we bought one of them that comes in a box. So we got this huge staircase, and it goes up, and then there's a landing and like a 90-degree turn and up even further. And I'm like, we'll never get anything up. Like even a twin size bed mattress would be like hard. So we got one of those mattresses that comes in a box, and even just getting the box up the stairs was a pain in the ass.
The box broke like 4 times.
Yeah, it broke. She had it by the top, she broke, and I was lucky I had a good grip on the thing, or it would have fell on top of me.
Yeah, that thing was not light.
So
it broke once coming up the
front steps. We didn't get in the house, and it was broken.
Yeah.
And it was like a really sturdy box, too. So we did that. So we slept with that on the floor for the first couple of weeks, and then we were looking for bed frames, and we found one at a thrift store that's perfect for us.
Right. It's
but again,
wood and
iron, I think.
Yep.
And so we're like, this is perfect. It fits us. The wood is a little bit lighter than what's in the room, but it actually still matches the room pretty nicely. And so we get that, but now we're like, we can't get a box spring up here. Like we could do 2 box springs, but even that could be a problem. So we ended up going to a hardware store and just getting some wood beams cut and sticking them on the frame and putting the mattress on top of that. And we're like, if we ever decide we want a full box spring, we're probably just going to have to build one. It's going to be like a ship in a bottle situation.
Yeah. I can't do it.
You're bringing him out?
Yes, because he keeps scratching at the door and it hurts.
Yeah, it's dog nails on metal. It's almost as bad as styrofoam on styrofoam.
Or nails on chalkboard.
So we get the bed up there. We get the mattress. Our most
not big enough for both
recent thing was chairs. I've got an old wingback chair that Thor here loves. That's in storage yet. It's not. We got one of the 2 storage units cleaned out. But we bought another. She found a wingback chair she liked. That looks like it could be that one's brother. So we bought that. And then my old roommate found a free couch and chair on Facebook that was just up the road from here, so we went to check it out. And we couldn't move the couch. It would have never fit in the car, and it was one of those with the beds inside.
Yeah.
So there's no way we could lift it. But I really liked the chair, so we took the chair, which we couldn't really fit in the car either. This is good. So we put the chair, it's like this big round chair. We can both fit in it. That's how big this thing is, so it's perfect for us. But we had to put it with like the back of the chair on the bottom, sitting with like hanging out. And we took my surfboard straps and ran them like around the car to strap it in. And then she got inside and sat on the back of the chair while I drove the thing like the 4 blocks back to our house. Which is funny because we've never really gone further north than our house. So we're getting like 4 or 5 blocks north, and it's like, oh, there's a cute cemetery here we didn't know about. So everything's been an adventure.
It has
Even
been.
pulling the carpet out, and we're pulling it out on the first floor. We're gonna probably leave it on the second floor just because it's kind of in there weird. But then the master bedroom doesn't have it, but the 2 other rooms do.
No, the one other room does. The other room has that weird tile that we cannot pull out.
Yeah, I'm getting that. So the back room, the small one, has like a really nice like blue carpet in there. It's really nice, really soft. Her hobby room though has, it's like a carpet and a tile at the same time, if that makes sense. Because it's almost like a tile, but it's like soft and just a little bit fuzzy. And there's a few spots where it looks like it was ripped up, and you can see the hardwood floors.
That is my nose. That's my nose. Stop putting your tongue up my nose.
But the padding underneath it is black, and I'm like, they usually use the black padding under the carpet was usually asbestos based. And like the house is like 110 years old. There is asbestos in here, so I'm like, I'm not risking pulling that up. Just to, like, maybe it's not, but I'm not going to screw with that.
And if that's something that we ever look at doing, we're going to hire a professional.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that.
Yeah.
So, but on the first floor, it's got like that. It's like 2 layers of that, like kind of a foam, that like orange padding you usually find, and the stuff is so old it's like crumbled into dust, and we're having to take paint scrapers and hard brushes and try and scrape it up, and it's. And like with the first time we pulled it up, like all of it came flying up at me, and I wasn't expecting that. Other things we found, like the one room in the basement where the furnace is, the one wall, it's all black, and at first I thought it was mold. And then I looked into it, and it turns out it's coal stains from the coal furnace that would have been in here when the house was first built. Teeth has found out that because it's got those huge like heating ducts like these old houses had, again part of the coal furnace system, that he can climb into them. He's found a spot in the basement. He'll go in there, get in the heating ducts, and start yowling, and the whole house like vibrates.
He doesn't fully get into the heating ducts. There's just
he basically gets his head into like one of the entranceways and starts doing that, and it just echoes. And like you go down there, and like he'll be sitting on the thing, looking in the pipe, and he'll just look at you with like this smile, like see what I can do.
So for description, because I will not bring him out, because he will fight and claw and everything. One day you'll get to see him. Teve is a Maine Coon mix. His mom was a domestic short hair, and his dad was at least half Maine Coon. He is big boy, and he has all 4 sets of claws and everything.
For perspective, I had a Maine Coon when I was in the military that was around 35 to 40 pounds. Teeth's not that big, but he's close enough.
He's about half that.
Yeah.
Don't lick that chair.
He's bigger than Thor, and he'll play with the dog sometimes, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So we set the cats up in the basement. I'm trying to keep the dogs out of there.
No.
And oddly enough, Solomon, if he's chasing the cats around and they're letting him chase them, they run downstairs.
He won't go upstairs, and he won't go downstairs.
He knows. And if I invite him upstairs, he'll come up, but he knows like, he's not supposed to go up on his own.
The one morning you let him up there while I was still asleep.
That was a mistake. I was like, let's go in the bed and we can snuggle with Mommy. And he goes and he just jumps. He doesn't jump into the bed, he jumps into her.
He jumped straight
on my chest. He's got to be like
chest.
50 pounds. That video on my old channel where he's like this big, no, he's like 8 months old now. He's
9.
Yeah, 9. So he's probably about as big as he's going to get. He might get a little chunkier, but yeah.
He's still got some growing to do because he's not even a full year yet.
So, not about the house, but funny story. She was at work. I took Solomon for a walk. Because him and Thor will like do opposite. One will pull and one will stay back, and then they'll switch. I swear they coordinate this. So I used to take him for walks one at a time. I'm taking Solomon out. And we saw the seagull on top of one of the bakeries here. There's a lot of bakeries in this town. And the seagull's like calling at us, and I kind of laugh. And all of a sudden he flies into the air, and he's doing a thing where he's like hovering above us. And I look up, and I'm like, he's not. There's no way he's going to do this. And all of a sudden he screams and comes diving down at us. And I kind of do this. And Solomon yelps and tries to run and almost pulls me.
Granted, this is a dog that could very easily eat that poor
It's
seagull.
like one bite.
Yeah.
And so this thing, like there were no other seagulls. There wasn't any signs of a nest. And it just kept circling and attacking us. And I kept telling Solomon, like, just go, bite it out of the air or something. He kept trying to like run away from it. And I'm like, I take Thor to the beach, and he chases the seagulls and jumps at him. Like, Thor would have, like, dealt with the seagull. Why won't you, Mr. 5 times his size?
For reference, though, Solomon has never seen a seagull in his life until that day.
It would have me scared, so. And then the next day I was walking him just, like, up the block here, and this lady had 2 parrots, one on each shoulder. He's walking, he stops, he's like,
what are those?
And he doesn't attack him or nothing. He just wanted to watch. And they started chirping at him. And he's funny. He likes to smell flowers. Like, we have a dog that literally wants to stop and smell the flowers. So when we're walking by people's houses, other dogs will be sniffing the ground like, can I pee here and mark my territory? No, he wants to go up and smell all the flowers.
And he'll smell every
individual flower.
Yep.
I took him up by the one lady. I'm like, can he smell your flowers? She's like, yeah. And he goes into the flower bed and just his nose in every single one.
And he's gentle about it. He's a very gentle giant.
Except when he wants to bite at me.
Yeah. We're still
He's young. We're working on that. So it has been crazy, and we've been trying to get things done. And even just getting in here, like we offered to paint the place. One of the issues, I always said I wanted to make sure the plumbing and the roof was good. Well, the roof had been replaced like 5 years ago. The roof looked fine. But there was a big hole up, and it was just like in the fascia of the roof. And I was talking to the realtor, and I was like, "Oh, I'll have to get the current owner to fix that." I was like, I know how to fix that, but I don't want to deal with it. Like, I'm already going to paint the place before I own it. I was like, plus I want to get an electrician in there to make sure nothing's in there. I was like, I hope there's no animals. And as soon as the squirrel pops its head out of there, like, did you call? So they patched it up, and like 2 days later we were here, and it looked like it had been ripped down again. And then we saw the squirrel again, and it's like, yeah, the squirrel got in there again. Well, they patched it up even better, and we saw that same squirrel. It was like,
and he was trying to get in.
Because he was almost like this orange-colored squirrel. Never seen one like he's just hanging out. And then we were sitting out on the back balcony having dinner, and there's a squirrel on the neighbor's roof just glaring at us like, you stole my home. Like he's gonna get it back or something. It's like, no, you're not. We'll sick the dog out.
I didn't tell you this because you had gone to bed. Kate and I tried to feed that squirrel.
Don't feed the squirrel. He's done enough here.
We were throwing the leftover bread at him.
He's so mad at us for taking us home. He's like, oh, no, first they steal my home, and now they're throwing things at me. How uncivilized.
If Kate ever watches this, she's going to laugh because we both know that happened. We're both like, we're not going to tell you. But we missed every single time, so the neighbors had a bunch of broken bread in their yard.
Yeah, so I met the neighbors on both sides, a couple of them, and they all seem pretty cool. But the ones over on this side, they let me borrow their lawnmower, and then like it ran out of gas, and they had like left for the night or something. So I got like one, like maybe 2 strips of the backyard cut, and that's it. But I guess they asked like the following Sunday if I wanted to borrow it again and finish it. I was like, nah, I'm sleeping. I have to work tonight. I don't care right now.
Yeah.
I probably should have done it. And then the guy on this side, he's got a big backyard too here, and he's got a big fire pit out there, and he's actually got like a little mini golf course set up. He showed me. But they're always out there like Saturday nights having bonfires, and he's like, does that bother you? I'm like, no. I was like, I work night shift. I'm usually up Saturday nights anyway. But I heard they like to fire off fireworks, so I did ask him to keep not do it so much. Like,
yeah, just
like I don't want to be the killjoy, but yeah.
During the week, keep it down.
That's like, I leave for work at like 9. You can do it anytime you want after 9. So I don't have you heard him doing that?
Like once or twice, but it's always after I've gotten
I heard
back.
they did it last Saturday, but we weren't even here. So.
No, we were here.
Oh, I mean the previous. So getting her stuff out here has been the fun one. Because again, I'm working 6 days. I tried taking a few Fridays off, and I was like, no, we really need the money right now because we're buying all sorts of like furniture and stuff. And so I've been working up 6 days a week, and then she's taking me to work. Especially Friday night, she'll take me to work. And then she comes and picks me up Friday or Saturday morning, and we just drive out to Iowa to get her stuff. We just figure whatever we can fit in the car.
We would have gone this week, but I tried to dislocate my shoulder.
Yeah, in her sleep. I actually saw that a lot in the military, so I'm like, I'm not even surprised. So we're like, yeah, we better not go this week.
Yeah, luckily it was just, I messed up all the muscles, and it took a few days to heal.
And you're still not 100%, are you?
Not quite.
I mean, she's holding her glass in that arm now, but...
Yeah, I could hold things in the arm, but it really hurt to move. But at least I can get to about this point now. So, it's progress.
So we're discussing how we want to do the rooms. Like, we both wanted to have a purple bedroom, but I actually have a bunch of purple like Christmas lights, and it's just like a bright white in there right now. So we're gonna try it with just the lights, because like this might reflect off the walls enough to give us the purple look we want, that we don't need to paint it. And I told her, you can do design the living room if I can do the dining room. And she kind of gives me this look like, okay, but what would you want to do with the dining room? And I was like, well, see, I have an idea, and I don't know if you're going to like this. But I was like, okay, how did I put it? I was like, I want to basically turn the dining room into a ballroom. And she kind of gave me this look, and I was like, look, I'm like, we can eat anywhere, and there's enough room for the table and what I want to do. But I was like, we can eat in any room in the house, but where are we going to dance? Well, I'm taking it a step further and sort of basing my design off the ballroom from Beauty and the Beast. So I showed her like the pictures from the ballroom from the movie, just so it's fresh in her memory.
I looked them up.
You did look them up too?
I looked them up while we were in the store that we were discussing
and then we went and looked at the paint, and I'm like, here's how I'm envisioning it. And after it all came together, she just gives me this look, and she got, it was one of those looks that I'm like, I don't know what she's thinking, and she goes, you do realize you have to do this now.
He's not giving me the library. No, he's giving me the ballroom.
I mean, I guess we could turn the basement into a library, but it gets wet down there, so you probably...
If we have sturdy enough shelves, we probably could.
But, so we're planning that out, and we're hoping to do a whole video for that. That's probably going to take a month or two to do, and film it and edit all that. So hopefully we can show that to you. But that was like our whole original idea for our channel started out as for music-based stuff. Especially we getting back into mixing and everything. And then it became, oh, let's do vlogs and let's do other stuff. And then it was like, we could do this ballroom. And then, because all my DJ equipment's in that room right now anyway. So I was like, if we ever did like a live video, a live mix of music or something, we could film it in our own ballroom, which would just be cool. Mm-hmm. And so we went and we found a bunch of candle holders specifically to put in that room and everything.
We have candle holders for the entire house.
Yeah, we've done like those ones are all like gold, and then the ones in
gold or bronze.
Gold or bronze. The ones all in our bedroom are black with a couple that are like gray, are brown, and there was like one or two that were the bronze that were like it's dark enough it'll fit.
No, the ones for our bedroom are more iron.
Yeah, the iron looking ones, and then most of those had like a like flower design on them, like plants and stuff. Whereas the ones for the ballroom are more
ostentatious.
Yeah, there was one set that had some leaves on them. We're like, this is cool and will fit. What are we gonna do in the living room for that? Well, we got the salt rock lamps that we want to put all around there and stuff too. So.
Oh, I had ideas for the living room. I'm not discussing those yet.
Okay. Fair enough. So the other thing is my doll collection, which has gotten bigger. Our doll collection. Now that I had a place, I started looking at buying more again, and she's gone with me. And it was funny because the one store, the most recent one we got, I saw it, and I'm like, I'm going to get that. And I had it in my hands, and I put it back on the shelf, and I'm like, because I went to look at something, and I walked around, and all of a sudden I hear her go, oh my God, she's gorgeous. And I'm like, is it the doll in the green dress? And we're like screaming across the store. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I want it. Go ahead, put it in the cart. I wanted that one. Well, we found this real incredible one it's up in the hobby room right now because her hat fell off. That she sees it in the store and she's not even talking. She's like, "Yeah, you're gonna love this." And I'm like, "What?" And I go around the corner. I'm like, just slowly walked up and picked her up. Like, nope, she's ours. But there's a really nice molding around the whole edge of the dining room that's actually wide enough that we can stick most of the dolls on there. So we're gonna try and put the fanciest ones there so they look like they belong in the ballroom. So I says, well, Disney made this set years ago called the Midnight Masquerade. And it's like mostly the villains. There's a couple of the heroes, but it's mostly the villains done up in like masquerade attire. I was like, let's get those and put some of those and put them in there. And
that's gonna take some time
because they're expensive now. But it turns out she wanted to get those when she was a kid, so she was like, "Yep, let's do that."
Yeah. I wanted like all the weird things that my parents would not get just because.
So I used to have a bunch of the Living Dead dolls, and it's funny. Like now as an adult, like now I look at them, I'm like, I don't like them as much. I like the plain ones. The plain ones look creepier.
They do.
We're trying to find like porcelain dolls that have a creepy look to them that are not supposed to be creepy.
So the one that we got at the one store, we've aptly named Ruella after my grandmother.
That is the most regal, prissy looking one ever, and I freaking love it.
So she doesn't actually look anything like my grandmother did, because my grandmother was a large red-headed Irish woman. That is the best way to describe that woman.
So,
but
a heftier version of your sister?
A little.
That explains a lot.
I've warned you. I am part redhead.
I don't think that's a thing.
My dad has pure red hair. My grandmother
and then
had red
a
hair.
tortoise shell, the redhead of cats. Like,
yeah. If you knew me when I was younger, I
probably wouldn't be dating you because it'd be weird.
Yeah. But I had the biggest attitude ever. I have since calmed down a lot. But Ruella is wearing this big red
You want to
dress.
go grab her?
No, because I don't want to break her more.
Okay.
But she's got this big red Victorian dress on.
I think I have a picture on my phone. I can get it in the video.
Yeah, and she's got this umbrella with her, and this big fucking
And she's got her hand like on her hat, like she's chipping it.
She's very unique, and she's not porcelain. She's like almost this string and styrofoam type, so she's super light. And originally we had her placed on the banister, which was not a good idea because the dog is so big that he can push her off.
I've got my knight up there now.
Yeah, the dog's tail shouldn't get there.
And he's tin, so it's not like he might get bent, but
It wouldn't be as big of a deal.
yeah. I've got this knight that my mom got back when my dad was in college. That's how long this thing's been around. Because he was going to Wartburg and they're the knights. So somebody's getting rid of this like tin knight. She's like, oh, that's cool because my husband's going to school at Wartburg for the knights. So they got that. So I've got that in my house. I found its exact duplicate on Facebook Marketplace months ago, but couldn't get a hold of it. And we were at a thrift store the other day where they had two more that were very similar. Not exact copies of them, very similar. So he's on the banister when we first entered the house. But yeah, I had a bunch of the Living Dead dolls, and when I was in the military, I started buying the little mini ones, and they'd come with like a keychain that looked like a noose. And so I had them because I had a room to myself, but they had bunk beds, so I had them strung up by these nooses on the bottom, like from the top, hanging down over the bottom bunk from the top bunk. And I always take them down when they did room inspections, and the one time I forgot to do that. And that was one of the times they went into my room for the weekly inspections, and I got in a lot of trouble for that. I had like these 20 dolls hanging from little nooses hanging up there.
Probably made you look a little bit like a sociopath.
Yeah, but working in the chaplain's office, people just left me alone.
This is true.
I was just like, you're a sick motherfucker, and that was it. And then we're wrong.
All I can think about is the rubber chicken.
The rubber. This has nothing to do with anything, but I got to tell the story now. So we had this first sergeant who decided he was going to go through the rooms he was mad about something. He's like, I'm going through. He's like, if it's not locked, I'm going in it. And I was like, there's Marine Corps orders that say you can't do that. He's like, too bad. I can do what I want. I'm the first sergeant. So everybody decided to like fill their drawers with like porn and condoms and sex toys and whatever. And I'm like in the middle of the second floor of a 4-story complex. I'm like, by the time he gets to my room, it's not even going to faze him at this point. So I'm like, what's the weirdest thing I can do? So I remove everything from all my drawers. I'm talking, I took my TV off the dresser and I put everything in my wall locker and lock it up. And then in my middle drawer on my dresser, I place a rubber chicken that I used to keep with me. That's a whole different thing. And a copy of the original novel, Winnie the Pooh. So when he gets to my room, there's literally nothing in there. He's going through my drawers. It's like I own nothing. He's probably thinking I just have my uniforms in my wall locker. Then he opens the one drawer, and I placed them like very neatly and specific. And it's like a rubber chicken and a copy of Winnie the Pooh. So I'm sitting in my office. It's a little after like noon. Like just finished lunch, and I'm just kind of chilling out because there wasn't much to do that day. And I hear the back door to the building open because I'm like right by the back door. And in walks the first sergeant and like the two Marines that had escorted him. And his eyes are big. He doesn't even step into my office. He just kind of sticks his head into the door. He's shaking. This guy was like he was the biggest asshole ever, but he was like this hardcore dude. And you would think nothing fazed him. He's just like, you're a sick man, you know that. Sick. And he just walks out. He's just shaking. He's just like shaking his head. And I'm like, what? And the two Marines that were with him come in and they're laughing. They're like, he thought all the porn and everything was funny. He gets in your room. He was so confused. They're like, he stood in the middle of this empty room for like 15 minutes, just like, what? Didn't even continue the inspection. Was just like, everybody passes, and left. That guy would never go into the chaplain's office. If he needed something, he would just kind of stand up in the hallway and be like, hey man, can you do this for me or whatever? Like he like refused to talk to me at that because he figured there's something else going on in my mind or something. He's not wrong. So, I guess I should tell the other part of that story. It was the night before and people were getting things ready. This one sailor that I did not get along with. Nobody got along with her. She was an ass. But me and her were always butting heads. She comes and she knocks on my door. She goes, "Is your roommate here?" And I'm like, "No, he had to work late." And she's like, "Oh." She just stood there. Like you would think she would like been like, "Okay, never mind." And she just stood there and she's like, "Well, I was wanting to get some condoms for him to place in the drawer to mess with the first sergeant." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's not here." And she just kind of stands there awkwardly looking at me. By the way, she had was cross-eyed, so she's looking at me but not looking at me. The best way I can describe her, she looked like the witch from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Like she looked like. I told my roommate, no wonder she hates us. For one thing, she thinks you're the painted man and you're gonna kill her. But anyway, she's just standing there all awkwardly, googly-eyed, looking at me like your ex-boyfriend. And I was like, "I don't have any condoms," and she goes, "I know that." And she's like real condescending. She's like, "I know you don't have any condoms." And I just looked at her and I was like, "Yeah, well, at least I'm celibate by choice." And I slammed the door in her face. So we are way off topic on a 45-minute video. That's going to be cut down because I got to edit all these cars out and crap. This is going to be a weird one. I wonder if anyone's even bother watching this just because we so weirdly edited and the sound's going to be all goofy. And I don't care. We're having fun.
Yeah. There's enough boobs.
We actually had another video planned, and then we were watching a video on Gothcast channel, and we're like, "Oh, we should do that." Like I saw, I'm like, "We should do this," and I sent it to her, and without even any prompt, she's like, "We got to do this." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do that." And then we bought the house, and we should do a video about us buying the house. And we almost filmed it when we were staying at my old place, but I was like, "No, let's wait till we're actually in the house and everything." You're not getting a grand tour other than the crappy online pictures that look like shit.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, no. Once I'm working on the ballroom, that's going to be interesting.
We'll probably do one where I'm working on the living room.
Which being completely kind of narcissistic here, I'm calling it the Ravens Loft Ballroom. But it's funny because it's the loft, but it's on the first floor of the house. So it has been quite the adventure, and it's still going. Hi.
Hi.
Somebody's feeling me up. I can do that too. We're gonna have to end this soon.
I was not feeling you up. There's a difference.
Should be.
Oh, I should be, huh? We might want to end this now. Then.
So we've been hitting a lot of thrift stores. We discovered one across the street from another one.
Yep.
They're actually the ones that are like, yeah, the owner comes in here, buys stuff, and then sells it at his store. So we're thinking that place must have jacked up prices, and it really won't. I should. So there's a place here called St. Vincent de Paul. Obviously, it's owned by a church. There's one here in Sheboygan, and there's one in the next city over Plymouth, and that one's huge, and that's the one we like to go to.
There's also some in Iowa.
But the one in Plymouth, my buddy, who's many people have seen him on the other channel, Twitchy, who, by the way, I live like 4 blocks from now, and I've got to get him over here at some point.
Yeah, we definitely
But
do.
he was there, and as many people who watch the old channel know, he has Parkinson's. Well, he was over there. His caregiver was like, "Hey man, I need to use the bathroom." Went to the bathroom, so he's just kind of hanging out in the store waiting. But I guess he was looking around, and people called the people at the store called the cops on him. reporting a man acting suspicious in the store. So not like I didn't go to that store for like a year after that because I'm like that's not right. Like how did like they didn't even look into it or nothing. And then they said his caregiver had left him alone, and it's like he's like, dude, I went to the bathroom. And it's like I know these people. He would have gone to the bathroom and been right back out. He wouldn't have left him alone that long. But we were like, we should go over there because it's probably the biggest damn thrift store. It's in like an old like supermarket or something. Or like, I think it might be like an old Big Lots or something. So it's huge. We've been getting a lot of stuff there. We bought two tables there the other day.
Yeah.
We found a coffee table we really liked, and then we found like an end table. The top is glass, and then it's like it's almost like a pedestal that the glass part's in, but it looks like books. And I'm like, that's too perfectly us. We got to have that in the house.
Yeah, we're both a little bit of book nerds.
So yeah, and my mother was a librarian, so.
I wanted to be a librarian.
So did I actually, but then I found you need a master's degree for that, and I'm like, screw that.
Well, and I actually did library stuff when I was in school.
That was part of my job in the Navy. The RPs are also those ship librarians. It's just like, so we got to that part of our training, like people, we had to like memorize the Dewey Decimal System. And
oh my God, that was so easy. That was easier than regular math.
Like it's funny because it's like my video game collection, which is almost gone now. I'm not talking about that right now. That I had, like, people ask, like, do you alphabetize me just to remember? And I'm like, mine's sort of a modified Dewey Decimal System. And people look at me like, yeah, like, I know where everything is. Screw the rest of you. Oh, yeah, we got a big church up here just so I get the church bells like in the old neighborhood, which is kind of... But it's like one of those... It's not quite Holy Hill, but it does look like a big castle. Finally did take her out to Holy Hill like 2 weeks ago.
Yep. That was really nice.
Yeah, we actually, like, we're not Catholic or anything, but it's like, we should get dressed up and go to a service here at some point. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so. Funnily enough, my mother is Catholic, so.
So is mine. Even though she was Lutheran the whole time she was married with my dad,
my dad was Lutheran.
She was still Catholic at heart. Like, there's no joke.
Yeah, no, my mother is Catholic, my father is Lutheran, and my brother is some weird combination of atheist and Christian. My sister decided late in her life that she was going to be Christian, and then you have me, the weird one, who's pagan.
Which pairs up with Christianity quite well, but you're not doing like some cross thing like your brother is, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, my brother halfway believes in God and then halfway doesn't.
So we've pretty much smoked this whole thing on camera, and all the way through, I've really liked it. No more?
No more. It's a little close for my taste.
It's pretty much done. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
So, what did you think of that one?
I liked it.
I did. It's not quite the Magic Toast. But that is like the best name. Like we got
Magic Toast.
We got that. I was like, I know they mean like toast, like with a whiskey glass, but I'm just picturing like the angry toast guy from the Hello Cthulhu comics, but he's like now magical.
It's got like a honey taste to it, which I really liked because it makes me think of peanut butter and honey toast.
Yeah. And it's funny because the name was cool and we liked the label. That was the only, like, it was by Alec Bradley, who was, we've never had any of his cigars. Yeah, we've had a couple of them now.
Yeah,
so.
We had,
It's got some Japanese name, I can't remember. But it's a limited edition one, so. It
was the name for binding things together with, like, gold lacquer, which they used to do with, like, broken pottery a lot. And it made things anew. I cannot remember the name for the life of me, even though I wasn't a major. It
started with a K, right?
Yeah, it started with a K. It was, it was like, Kitsugi?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, we've been, when we go out to West Bend, we hit that store up, and we've been trying, if you knew us. We actually went to a local, cigar lounge I've been wanting to go to for years. We actually went there and sat down and had this is great. So now that I've got her out here and we can do all this stuff, we went to a really fancy restaurant, Tavern at Wood Lake.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money, but it was worth every penny.
It.
And we're dressed fancier than this. Like, I mean, you've all seen like our fancier clothes. Not like overly done, and we were still probably like underdressed to be there.
Yep. There was some girl there in a really, like, sparkly dress.
I think it was for prom or something. Or no, it must have been like a wedding party because prom's done. But yeah, we went there, and then like across the street is. I mean, I tie Thor's to my belt, so we're watching people walk the dog.
No,
Go.
giving like a dirty look.
Oh, Thor's down there now. Okay. So, yeah, we went there and had dinner. Then we went across the street. And so right next to Tavern at Wood Lake is a chocolate shop. It's not the chocolate shop in Sheboygan that we like. But they make a chocolate brandy. And they sell it at this cigar lounge, Olive and Ash. And I've always wanted to try it. Even though I'm not like a huge brandy guy, it just sounded good. So we went there to try that, and we took one of those Java, was it mint?
Yeah, it was Java mint.
The Java mint from Drew Estates. And had that after, sort of as our dessert. Mm-hmm. And the brandy was okay. Like,
I got a martini.
Yeah, she got this blue martini that I wish I had that, because it was, like, I took a drink of that, I'm like, this is better. But the brandy was good.
Bad place.
But I always thought because of where, like, this is in a nicer town, and everything's fancy, and it's in this, like, upper class strip mall, sort of. And it was actually not, like, this super fancy place. It was really laid back and casual. Like, there were a bunch of people in there watching a baseball game.
Yeah, they were dressed like I dressed for work.
Yeah.
Like but the chicks were in leggings and t-shirts, and the dudes were in jeans and t-shirts.
Meanwhile, I'm, like, in a full suit.
Yeah, and I'm in one of my nicer dresses. Damn, I could have worn my slutty dress. That would have been fun.
The sparkly one?
No, I have a sluttier dress.
She has to go model this for me, so we're going to get going. But yeah, so we're homeowners now. We bought a house. And it's good to have land. Love you.
I love you. You're the stars to my sky.